Let's talk about intuition. What is intuition? Well, thoughts and preferences that come to mind quickly and without much reflection. This is what intuition is. Intuition is something that's going to help you in life coaching. It's something that's going to really come into play. So I want you to start tuning into intuition. You're going to have to, in many cases, use your intuition. Now, some people will call this playing a guessing game because usually when it comes up, you'll be dealing with your client and you really won't know quite what to do. You'll have an idea of what to do, but you really won't know. There won't be a rock-solid blueprint in many cases for you to follow. That's where intuition comes into play. You need to start trusting your intuition. Many times when you're tuned into something that you may think is psychic or you may think is from another realm, it's actually just your subconscious mind telling you the most logical route, or your subconscious mind giving you consciously the answer that you knew but you forgot. You consciously forgot it, but your subconscious mind still remembers. So it comes back in the form of intuition. For example, you may be working with Bill, and you may be thinking, well, Bill needs something from me, but I'm not sure what it is. I think he might need a little boost of confidence. That's what he might need. That's your intuition talking. Eventually, you're going to trust your intuition once you follow it enough. Now, every time you get an inkling about something, that doesn't mean that it's right. So what I suggest you do is find out through trial and error. You're going to have to experiment. You're going to have to trust your intuition enough to follow it and see if it works out. See if that plan comes together that you think might work. Now, you're not always going to even be able to do this. Sometimes, as I've said, you're going to work with clients who have a very rigid pattern. And when they have a very rigid pattern, they're going to want you to follow it. Your intuition isn't going to matter to them. They want you to do things in A, B, and C order. And if you think you're going to start with G, well, you're wrong, because they're going to make you start with A. And that's just the way it is. But in other cases, you're going to find that you have tremendous ability to improvise. And this is where your intuition is going to come into play. You know how some musicians are just wonderful because they don't follow the rules? They know the rules, but they don't always stick to them. They improvise. They go off the beaten path. That's what I want you to become. Someone who can do that when they need to do that. So trusting your intuition can be very powerful for you. In psychology, intuition can encompass the ability to know valid solutions to problems, or challenges as I usually call them, and decision-making. Valid solutions to problems and decision-making. So it can encompass knowing the valid solutions to problems, and it can encompass decision-making. So these two areas are what you're going to be working within many times. You're going to have problems or challenges that you're going to face, and you're going to need valid solutions to them. Psychology tells us that your intuition, your subconscious mind usually, is going to feed you information. It's going to be a way out of it. Have you ever slept on something and you wake up and you have the solution? Let's say you had a challenge and you went to sleep and you didn't know how to figure it out. You wake up and you have the answer. You had a dream about it perhaps, or you just wake up and suddenly it's in your head. Your subconscious mind is feeding you the information. It knows what needs to be done, and it's giving you the information once you're quiet enough and calm enough to accept it. So intuition can encompass the ability to know valid solutions to problems or challenges, and decision-making. Let's say you have a decision to make. You're not really sure what to do. This person who's hired you, she wants you to figure out whether you should hire this other person or the person who you're thinking may or may not be right for the job. So you've got two people to choose from, let's say, and you've been given the task. Sometimes, yes, as a life coach, you'll be given that task. They will say to you, I need to hire someone. You handle it. So here's this person who is potentially going to be hired by you, and then there's another person, and you've got some sort of feeling about the other person. right or wrong, good or bad. You could have a feeling either way. Either they're going to work out or they're not. I suggest that if all the cards are on the table and everything looks the same between the two, that you trust your intuition. Psychology tells us that decision-making can be affected by your subconscious mind because your subconscious mind really knows what should happen in that case. And you've got to try this to believe it. You've got to trust your intuition. You've got to go for it. Once you start doing this, you're going to find that everything really just starts falling into place for you. If you get really good at it and get a flow, let's say they both got the same credentials, went to the same schools, they're about the same ability, same aptitude level, but you just don't know who to hire. You just don't know. In fact, you like them both the same, but you've got a feeling that Sally, for some reason, is better than Ted. You don't know why, but you've got a feeling. I suggest that you go for it. It's a perfect opportunity to flex your intuition muscle and see what happens. And you're going to find out how good your intuition is by doing things like that. How to develop your intuition. You already have intuition. That's the good news. You don't have to go out and get intuition. You just have to develop it. Remember that song by the group America? Oz never did give nothing to the Tin Man that he didn't already have. Those are the lyrics. The idea is that the Wizard of Oz didn't give anything to the Tin Man or anyone else really. They already had the abilities that the Wizard of Oz was quote-unquote bestowing upon them. They already had them. They were just being reminded by physical objects that they had those abilities or those attributes, those qualities about themselves. You already have intuition. Your subconscious mind is always telling you things to do. You know, when you go to some place and your subconscious mind says, get out of here. Or when you're about to say something, your subconscious mind says, don't say that. That's the wrong thing to say. That's your intuition. But it's not some metaphysical construct. It's not some voice from another world, and you're not losing your mind. It's just your subconscious mind speaking to you and feeding you information that it has. Your subconscious mind is that part of your mind that's below your conscious mind. It's the greater part of you. If you were an iceberg, your subconscious mind would be the 90% or so that's beneath the water's surface. It's the larger part, but it's the hidden part. It's the part that has a lot of information. It's all your memories and your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, what you want to do, but it's usually hidden. Your conscious mind is the awake you. Oh, I've got to go here today. I've got to do that today. Okay, I'm doing this now. It's just that little bit of information that you need to get by from day to day. But your subconscious mind has all that information, that vast warehouse of information stored in it, and every now and then it will give you a helping hand and say, you think you don't know whether you should be here or not? Well, you shouldn't be here. Or you should be here. Or you should talk to that person. Or you should not talk to that person. Now, sometimes what talks to you is fear. Sometimes fear says, don't do that. Go away, run away, get out of that situation. That's fear talking. You are going to have to learn the difference. And when you do that, you develop your intuition. You learn the difference between your fears talking and your common sense or your intuition talking and feeding you valid information. By doing that, you are going to become a very powerful life coach. You're going to be someone who is able to give to others because of this intuition, this almost magical sense that you have. That's what it's going to seem like to others, this magical sense you have. Really, you're just tuning into your subconscious mind, that greater part of yourself, and getting all that information that you can share with others. So the more you experience, that you gain, the more your intuition will pick up on. Okay, so the more experience you gain, the more your intuition will pick up on. So if you, for example, have a lot of experience as a heart surgeon, okay, your intuition has picked up on things because of that experience. You've gained a lot of experience. So your intuition has a lot to pick up on. Let's say one day, heart surgery time, and there's a crisis. There you are, performing surgery, and there's a crisis. It's a situation that you haven't experienced before, yet you've experienced things similar to that. Your intuition is that greater part of you, your subconscious mind, feeding your conscious mind information, and because it has all that experience, it's picked up on a lot. It's put a lot of pieces together without you really knowing it. Your intuition is going to tell you what to do in that moment. Now, usually people don't find themselves in that type of situation where they're a heart surgeon and they've got a crisis going on and it's a new crisis. But let's take you, for example, as a life coach. Let's say that you're in a life coaching situation and someone has a financial challenge and you're not quite sure what to do. However, due to your experience working with other people and coaching them, your subconscious mind has stored all of this information. Your subconscious mind has a lot of information and is going to feed that information to you. So the more experience you gain, the more your intuition will pick up on. The more your intuition will be able to reach down into your subconscious mind and say, hey, buddy, here it is. Here's the answer right here from your own experience. So the simple solution to increasing your intuition, your quote-unquote magical powers, is to have more experience. Get out there and help more people. Work with more people. Go out there and help as many people as you possibly can. Get as many clients as you comfortably can while still being effective with all of them. And what you're going to find is that your intuition grows as your experience grows. Your intuition as a driver, for example, if you drive a car, is probably very good. Why? Because you've had a lot of experiences. Now, when you see someone putting their brakes on up ahead, you put your brakes on because your experience tells you, hey, if I don't put my brakes on, things are not going to go so well. Maybe you've had the experience of being in an accident. Maybe you've seen accidents. Maybe you're just very observant of things, but it's all based on experience. You know what's going to happen. Now take, for example, a deer in the headlights. A deer in the headlights oftentimes is just going to stand there because they usually don't get to live through that twice. A deer has that experience one time where they stop for the headlights and that's it. Now, if they live through it, that's a different story. They will learn from experience and their intuition will have grown exponentially. Let's talk about how to use your intuition with clients. Now, we've already talked a little bit about this, but essentially what you want to do is really open yourself up to that. Really open yourself up to that possibility. And you may even want to meditate before you work with your client. Some clients are fairly difficult, and you're going to find yourself meditating before and after just to clear your mind so you don't want to break anything, because some clients can really stress you out, and that's okay. That's normal. That's going to happen. Part of what you're getting paid for is to put up with your clients, so keep that in mind. You're being compensated for listening to them and dealing with their attitudes and so forth. But as part of your preparation, when you get ready to work with clients, rather than just showing up and saying, here I am, okay, what do you need me to do? All right, got my work boots on and my sleeves rolled up and I'm ready to work. Rather than showing up with that kind of attitude, where you're just going to be like a technician fixing something, how about preparing yourself? How about opening yourself up spiritually? How about opening your energy up beforehand? How about tuning into that larger part of yourself, your subconscious mind beforehand, so that you kind of prime the pump? So that if at any time during your interaction with them that day, they need you to reach down inside, deep down inside yourself and pull out something that's a new, exciting answer, you're able to do that. How about that? How about getting yourself in a position where you are ready to share your intuition with your clients? You're ready to reach down. Because many times you may think that you're just going to walk into a situation and, oh, my intuition's there. I had the experience. I've got my subconscious mind, of course. I'm ready to go. Here I go. I'm just jumping in. Okay, well, it's fine. That's fine to think that way. However, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work out that way. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen that way. What happens in many cases, if you haven't prepared yourself ahead of time, is that your intuition, as developed as it may be blocked in that moment because you're not open to it, because you're in your everyday work attitude. You're in your I am a technician, almost like a robot. I must fix this. You're not really tuned into reaching out to the universe and reaching into your subconscious mind and pulling out the solutions that are dynamic and creative and wonderful. So I suggest that in order to use your intuition, you prime the pump ahead of time. You prepare yourself. Have some ritual, some sort of meditation. It can be 5 minutes long. But before you work with your client, each new client, I want you each time to prepare yourself some way so that you are ready. When we use our intuition, it may seem illogical. but it feels right. Always keep this in mind. And remember the times you're going to use your intuition. You're going to use your intuition when you are not able to consciously and logically make a decision. If you have a decision to make and it's not consciously and logically flowing, if A plus B does not equal C and there's not some kind of formula you can follow, that's when you're using your intuition. Sometimes it'll also kick in when A plus B equals C and it seems logical, but something doesn't feel right. That's also when your intuition may kick in. And that's the hardest challenge, really, because you may be looking at the paper and thinking, okay, this business venture is going to work out great. All the capital's there, all the money's there. I'm going to advise my client to move forward. Even the financial people said it's okay. The CPA said it's okay. His financial manager at Edward Jones says it's okay. Everyone says it's okay. But I feel that it's not right. I don't know why. It's not logical, but I have a feeling that it's not right. That's your intuition talking. Usually. Sometimes it's your fear talking, but you're going to, through experience, learn the difference. When it's your intuition talking, you have an obligation to at least bring that up. Trust me when I say that if you bring up something after the fact, it's no good. If your client's about to go into some kind of business venture and you're called in as the life coach to help this, to facilitate this business venture happening, and you suspect that something doesn't smell right about it, something's just wrong about it. You don't know what it is because on paper it looks great. Everything looks great, 100%, wonderful, but you suspect something's wrong. The time to bring that up is before they go through with it. So at least you will have said it. And you can even say it like that. Just say, I don't know what it is. Everything looks great, but I have a feeling that there's something wrong with this. I just wanted to share that with you. Okay, don't think that you're going to be sabotaging them. You're actually going to be presenting your get out of jail free card. Because what happens if it does fall through and you were right? You may find yourself without a job, but it's always better to be in the I told you so position than to be in the I kept my mouth shut position. So if you suspect something's not right, bring that up, even if it seems illogical. And many times, our intuition is going to seem illogical. However, in the long run, the logic is clear. You get to keep your job, you get to help the client, and even if you were wrong about it, at least you said something. At least you spoke up. At least you said that there was an inkling. They're going to respect you for that. Now, if your intuition is constantly telling you things are wrong and things are constantly turning out right, you may want to look into your intuition. This may just be your fear talking. But as I've said, that's going to be clear eventually when it's your intuition versus when it's your fear. That's going to come with experience.